Norfolk House, London. January 17, 1944. 8:47 a.m. The room is freezing. Ice crystals pattern the windows like frozen lace. Outside, London shivers through its fifth winter of war. Inside, 23 men sit around a table that shouldn't exist, discussing an operation that will either end the war or drown in blood on a French beach. General Dwight D. Eisenhower hasn't slept in 36 hours. His eyes are bloodshot, his uniform wrinkled. He stands at the head of the table, one hand flat on a map of the French coast, the other holding a cigarette burned down to his knuckles. He doesn't seem to notice. "Gentlemen," he says, his Kansas accent flattened by exhaustion, "we have 4 months to plan the largest amphibious invasion in human history. If we get it wrong, 50,000 men will die in the first 24 hours, and Hitler will still control Europe when Christmas comes." Lieutenant General Frederick Morgan clears his throat. He's been planning this invasion for 18 months, before Eisenhower even arrived in Britain. His code name for the operation is simple, brutal, Overlord. "Sir, we've identified 5 possible landing sites along the French coast. Each one will kill us in different ways." He unfolds a larger map. The coastline stretches from Calais to Brittany, 400 miles of beaches, cliffs, ports, and death. Somewhere in that expanse is the one place where Allied forces can land, establish a beachhead, and survive long enough to break into Fortress Europe. Choose right, and you win the war. Choose wrong, and you've just murdered an army. Eisenhower stabs out his cigarette. "Show me where we die." If you've never heard what actually happened in the months before D-Day, you're not alone. History remembers June 6, 1944, the invasion itself. But the real story is what happened in rooms like this, where commanders faced impossible choices and somehow had to pick the least terrible option. Hit subscribe, because you're about to witness the most agonizing strategic decisions of World War II, made by men who knew that every choice cost lives, and the question was only how many. Underscore 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 underscore. The planning for Overlord didn't begin in January 1944. It began in August 1942, at a beach resort called Dieppe, where it failed catastrophically. The Dieppe Raid was supposed to be a test. British and Canadian forces, 6,000 men, launched an amphibious assault on the German-occupied French port. The idea was simple: land, hold for a day, withdraw. Prove that Allied forces could assault the Atlantic Wall and survive. They couldn't. Of the 6,000 who landed, 3,600 were killed, wounded, or captured. The beaches turned into killing zones. German machine guns, positioned in concrete bunkers overlooking the shore, cut down soldiers the moment landing craft opened. Tanks couldn't climb the sea walls. Air support couldn't dislodge fortified positions. The operation lasted 9 hours. 9 hours of slaughter that taught the Allies exactly what wouldn't work. Lieutenant General Morgan was there. Not on the beaches, he was in command at headquarters, listening to radio reports as the operation disintegrated. He heard men screaming through static. Heard officers requesting permission to retreat. Heard the silence when those officers stopped transmitting. Now, 18 months later, he's tasked with planning an operation 100 times larger, against defenses 100 times stronger. We learned from Dieppe, Morgan says quietly, his finger tracing the French coast on the map. We learned that assaulting a defended port is suicide. The Germans have turned every harbor into a fortress. Cherbourg, Le Havre, Calais, all death traps. So we can't land at a port. Then where? Asks Air Chief Marshal Trafford Leigh-Mallory, commander of Allied Air Forces. You need port facilities to unload supplies. Tanks, ammunition, fuel, food, you can't sustain an army without a port. Which is why, Morgan says, pulling out another map, we're going to bring our own. The room goes silent. Explain, Eisenhower orders. Morgan unfolds blueprints. They show massive concrete structures, hollow inside, designed to be towed across the English Channel and sunk offshore. Artificial harbors. Entire ports, prefabricated in Britain, transported to France, assembled in enemy waters. We call them mulberry harbors, Morgan continues. 2 of them, each capable of handling the cargo capacity of Dover. We land on open beaches, establish a beachhead, float the mulberries into position, and suddenly we have port facilities where the Germans don't expect us. Admiral Bertram Ramsay, naval commander, leans forward. You want to tow concrete harbors across 100 miles of open ocean, through German-controlled waters, while under fire? Yes. That's insane. Yes. I love it. Ramsay smiles for the first time in the meeting. The Germans will never see it coming because no sane commander would attempt it. This is the essence of overlord planning. Every solution is impossible. The question is which impossibility has the best chance of working. Underscore 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 underscore. February 1, 1944. Churchill's War Rooms beneath Whitehall. Winston Churchill sits in his underground bunker, smoking a cigar the size of a small log. Maps cover the walls. Reports pile on his desk. He hasn't been above ground in 4 days. General Bernard Montgomery, Monty, to everyone, loved and hated in equal measure, stands before him. Montgomery commands the 21st Army Group, which means he'll lead the ground forces during the invasion. If Overlord succeeds, Monty gets the credit. If it fails, Monty's name goes on the casualty list alongside 50,000 dead soldiers. Prime Minister, we have a problem, Montgomery begins. His voice is clipped, precise, the accent of a man who learned to speak from books, not people. The Americans want to invade with 3 divisions. 3. Against the entire Atlantic Wall. Churchill removes his cigar slowly. And you want? 5 divisions minimum. Ideally 7. The current plan is suicide. We'll be landing concentrated forces on a narrow front. The Germans will counterattack from the flanks and push us into the sea. We need width. We need to spread their defenses, prevent them from massing forces against a single point. More divisions mean more ships, Churchill says. More ships mean delaying the invasion. Every month we wait, the Germans strengthen their defenses. Every month we wait, we also train more men, produce more equipment, and reduce the chance of catastrophic failure. I would rather invade in July with adequate forces than invade in May and lose the war. Churchill studies Montgomery. The general is arrogant, difficult, tactless, and brilliant. His victory at El Alamein in North Africa broke Rommel and turned the North African campaign. If anyone can make Overlord work, it's Monty. You'll get your 5 divisions, Churchill says finally. But Montgomery, understand this. We get one chance. 1. If Overlord fails, we can't try again. The invasion fleet will be destroyed. The casualties will be catastrophic. And Hitler will have years to consolidate Europe while we rebuild. The entire outcome of the war hinges on what happens in the first 24 hours on those beaches. I understand, Prime Minister. Do you? Churchill leans forward. Because I'm not sure I do. I've sent men to die before. But never this many. Never with this much depending on it. I will not sleep again until those boys are off the beaches and into France. And if they die there, if this fails, I will resign. I will not live to see Britain defeated because I ordered the wrong invasion. Montgomery doesn't flinch. Then I suggest, Prime Minister, that you prepare a victory speech instead. Because I intend to win. Underscore 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 underscore. The question of where to invade consumed hundreds of hours of debate. The options, in order of consideration. Option 1, Pas-de-Calais. The narrowest point of the English Channel. Only 21 miles from Dover. Easy to supply, easy to reinforce, easy to provide air cover. Also, the most obvious choice. The most heavily defended section of the Atlantic Wall. The place where Germans expect the invasion. Concrete bunkers every 100 meters. Artillery covering every approach. Minefields extending miles inland. Landing at Calais means landing directly into the strongest point of German defense. Rejected. Option 2, Brittany Peninsula. Western France. Ports at Brest and Saint-Nazaire. Farther from German reinforcements coming from the east. But also, 200 miles from southern England. Beyond the range of fighter cover. The invasion fleet would be exposed to U-boats for hours. And Brittany is a geographic dead end. Even if you capture it, you're trapped on a peninsula with the entire German army between you and Paris. Rejected. Option 3, Normandy. The Goldilocks option. Not the closest landing site, not the farthest. Not the most defended, not the least. Beaches that are wide enough for large-scale landings but overlooked enough that German defenses are lighter than at Calais. The coastline offers variety, Utah Beach and Omaha Beach for Americans on the western flank. Gold, Juno, and Sword beaches for British and Canadian forces on the eastern flank. 50 miles of landing zones, wide enough to prevent the Germans from concentrating their counterattacks. And critically, Normandy is unexpected enough that the Germans might believe the invasion is a diversion. That the real attack is still coming at Calais. This is the option they choose. Not because it's good, but because it's the least bad. underscore 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 underscore. March 15, 1944. SHAEF Headquarters, Supreme Headquarters Allied Expeditionary Force. The planners work in shifts, 24 hours a day. The invasion has been designated for early June, which gives them 11 weeks to solve problems that would normally take years. Problem 1, the Atlantic Wall. Hitler has spent 3 years fortifying the French coast. Millions of tons of concrete poured into bunkers, gun emplacements, observation posts. Thousands of artillery pieces ranging from 88 mm anti-aircraft guns to massive 155 mm naval cannons. Minefields, barbed wire, underwater obstacles designed to rip the bottoms out of landing craft. Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, the Desert Fox, now assigned to defend France, has added his own innovations. Steel hedgehogs on the beaches. Wooden stakes with mines attached, positioned at the high tide line. The obstacles are designed so that landing craft approaching at high tide will be torn apart. Landing craft approaching at low tide will leave soldiers exposed to 300 yards of open beach under machine gun fire. Solution: land at mid-tide. Accept casualties from obstacles and gunfire. Pray that naval bombardment and airstrikes have degraded German defenses enough that some soldiers survive to reach the seawall. It's not a good solution. It's just the only solution. Problem 2, airborne insertion. Before the beach landings, airborne divisions will parachute behind German lines. Their mission: capture bridges, block German reinforcements, create chaos in the rear areas. But airborne operations are notoriously unpredictable. At Sicily in 1943, paratroopers were scattered across 50 miles of countryside. Some landed in the ocean and drowned. Some landed in German headquarters and were captured immediately. Only a fraction landed near their designated zones. Air Chief Marshal Lee Mallory presents casualty estimates. If we drop 2 airborne divisions behind Normandy beaches, we should expect 70% casualties. Most will be killed before they hit the ground or in the first hours after landing. Eisenhower reads the report. 70% casualties. That's 14,000 men killed or wounded before the beach landings even begin. He approves the operation anyway. Because without airborne forces securing the flanks, the beach landings have even less chance of success. It's a math problem where every answer is measured in corpses. Problem 3, weather. The invasion requires specific conditions. Low tide at dawn, to expose and clear beach obstacles. Full moon the night before, for airborne operations. Calm seas, for landing craft. Clear skies, for air support. These conditions align for only a few days each month. In June 1944, the possible dates are June 5th, 6th, or 7th. After that, the next window isn't until late June, which gives the Germans more time to strengthen defenses. The weather over the English Channel in early June is historically terrible. Rain, wind, low clouds. The meteorologists tell Eisenhower there's a 50% chance the invasion will launch into a storm that drowns soldiers before they reach France. Eisenhower schedules the invasion for June 5th, backup date, June 6th. If weather scrubs both days, the invasion is delayed a month, which might mean delayed until 1945. Everything depends on weather, the one variable no one can control. Underscore 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 underscore. April 1944. Deception operations. While planners design the invasion, another team works on making the Germans look the wrong direction. Operation Fortitude is perhaps the most elaborate deception in military history. The goal? Convince Hitler that the invasion will land at Calais, not Normandy. How do you deceive an entire enemy intelligence apparatus? Step 1. Create a fake army. The first United States Army group, FUSAG, exists only on paper and in German imagination. It's supposedly based in southeastern England, directly across from Calais. The Allies build fake tanks, inflatable rubber shells that look real from aerial reconnaissance. They stage fake radio traffic, fake supply movements, fake training exercises. They even assign General George Patton to command FUSAG. Patton, the most aggressive American general, the one the Germans fear most. If Patton is in southeastern England, the Germans reason, that's where the invasion will come. Step 2. Leak false information. British intelligence controls every German spy in Britain. Every single one. They've either captured and turned them, or identified and monitored them. These double agents now feed Germany a steady stream of false intelligence confirming the Calais invasion. Step 3. Bomb Calais more than Normandy. For every bomb dropped on Normandy, 2 are dropped on Calais. The bombing pattern suggests Calais is the target. The Germans reinforce Calais. They strip troops from Normandy and send them north. The deception works almost too well. Even after D-Day, even after Allied forces are ashore in Normandy, Hitler remains convinced the real invasion is still coming at Calais. He holds back panzer divisions, waiting for an attack that will never come. Those held-back divisions could have pushed the Allies into the sea. Instead, they wait for ghosts. Underscore 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 underscore. May 15, 1944. Final briefing. St. Paul's School, London. Every senior commander is present. Eisenhower, Montgomery, Ramsey, Lee Mallory. American generals Omar Bradley and George Patton. British commanders Miles Dempsey and John Crocker. And in the front row, sitting quietly, King George VI and Winston Churchill. Montgomery presents the plan. His pointer taps the map like a conductor's baton. 5 beaches. Utah and Omaha for the Americans. Gold, Juno, Sword for British and Canadian forces. H-hour is 0630. Low tide. Airborne drops begin at 0100, 5 hours earlier. First wave, 23,000 men hitting the beaches simultaneously. Their objective is survival. Get off the beach, get to the seawall, neutralize bunkers. Second wave, 50,000 men arriving by mid-morning. They push inland, link the beachheads, prevent German counterattacks from splitting our forces. Within 24 hours, 150,000 men ashore. Within 1 week, 326,000 men and 54,000 vehicles. By the end of June, over 1 million men in France. See. He pauses. The room is silent except for breathing. Casualties for the first day, estimated between 10,000 and 12,000 killed or wounded. Acceptable losses given the strategic objective. Acceptable. The word hangs in the air like a corpse from a gallows. Churchill stands. His face is gray, his voice rough. Gentlemen, I am an old man. I have seen war. I have sent men to die. But never like this. Never so many, on a single day, betting everything on a single throw of the dice. He looks around the room. These men, these commanders who will execute the plan. If this fails, Britain is finished. We have no army left to raise, no reserves to commit. This is our last throw. And if we lose, he trails off. Doesn't finish the sentence. Doesn't need to. Eisenhower stands. Prime Minister, commanders, we've done everything possible. We've planned for every contingency. We've trained the men. We've built the equipment. Now we trust them to do what soldiers have always done, adapt, improvise, overcome. The plan is good. But the plan will fall apart within 5 minutes of landing. That's when leadership matters. That's when training matters. That's when we discover whether these boys have what it takes to walk into hell and come out the other side. He looks at each commander in turn. We go on June 5th, God help us all. Underscore 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 underscore. June 4th, 1944. 0400 hours. Southwick House, Portsmouth. Eisenhower sits alone in a room that smells of rain and tension. Outside, a storm lashes the English coast. Winds howling at 40 miles per hour. Seas running 6-foot swells. The invasion fleet is loaded, 5,000 ships waiting in harbors around southern England. 150,000 men packed into landing craft, transport ships, destroyers. And the weather is impossible. Group Captain James Stagg, chief meteorologist, delivers the forecast. Sir, the storm will continue through June 5th, landing craft will swamp. Airborne operations are impossible in this wind. I cannot recommend Lao. Enching. Eisenhower closes his eyes. The invasion has been delayed once already, from June 5th to June 6th, delay again, and it's postponed until July, maybe later. Another month of waiting, of German reinforcements, of beach obstacles multiplying. But launch into this storm, and men will drown before they see France. Any break in the weather? He asks. Stagg hesitates. There may be a window. Brief. June 6th, afternoon and evening. The storm will pause for perhaps 12 to 18 hours. Then another front moves in. 12 hours. Yes, sir. Barely enough. Eisenhower looks at his commanders. Montgomery's face is unreadable. Ramsey looks worried. Lee Mallory looks terrified. Gentlemen, Eisenhower says quietly, I don't like it. But I don't see that we have a choice. The question is, do we have the guts to gamble everything on a 12-hour weather window? No one speaks. All right, Eisenhower says. We go. June 6th, full invasion. God willing, the weather holds. If it doesn't, he doesn't finish. Later, alone, he writes a message on a small piece of paper. A message to be released if the invasion fails. Our landings have failed and I have withdrawn the troops. My decision to attack at this time and place was based on the best information available. The troops, the air, and the Navy did all that bravery could do. If any blame or fault attaches to the attempt, it is mine alone. He folds the paper and puts it in his pocket. Then he goes to watch 150,000 men sail toward France. Underscore 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 underscore. June 5, 1944. Evening. Across southern England. The soldiers don't know the plan. They know only that tonight is the night. They board landing craft in silence. Some vomit from seasickness before the ships even leave harbor. Some pray. Some write letters they hope will never be mailed. Lieutenant Robert Edlin, 2nd Ranger Battalion, assigned to Omaha Beach, writes to his mother. By the time you read this, I'll either be in France or I won't. I can't tell you where we're going, but I can tell you we're ready. The officers say it'll be tough at first, but we'll break through. I believe them because I have to. Tell Dad I'm thinking of him. Tell Sarah I'll be home by Christmas. And if I'm not, tell them I wasn't scared. Even if I am. He seals the letter, hands it to the chaplain, and climbs into the landing craft. Underscore 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 underscore. June 6, 1944. 0016 hours. Over Normandy. The first soldiers to land aren't on beaches. They fall from the sky. Paratroopers from the 82nd and 101st Airborne Divisions jump into darkness over the Cotentin Peninsula. Their job, secure causeways behind Utah Beach, capture bridges, blow up roads to prevent German reinforcements. But the drops are chaos. Anti-aircraft fire shreds formations. Planes take evasive action, scattering paratroopers across miles of French countryside. Some land in flooded fields and drown, weighed down by equipment. Some land in trees and hang like ornaments, shot by Germans before they can cut themselves free. Lieutenant Richard Winters, Easy Company, 101st Airborne, lands hard in a field. Around him, silence. His entire stick, the men who jumped with him, are gone. Scattered. He's alone in occupied France, in darkness, with Germans somewhere close. He finds a hedgerow, takes cover, and waits. Slowly, other paratroopers find him. Not his unit. Random soldiers from random companies. They gather like survivors of a shipwreck, assembling whatever force they can from the chaos. This is what training prepares you for, not the plan, but the moment when the plan disintegrates. Underscore 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 0630 hours. The beaches. The landing craft lower their ramps. Machine gun fire erupts instantly. Men fall before they take a step. The water turns red. This is what the planners knew would happen. This is what they accepted as acceptable casualties. This is the plan working, as much as this kind of hell can be called working. At Omaha Beach, it's worse than anyone imagined. The naval bombardment missed most German bunkers. The beach obstacles were thicker than intelligence reported. The Germans have an entire division, 352nd Infantry, positioned exactly where Allied intelligence said there wouldn't be. Men die in the water. Die on the sand. Die against the seawall. For 2 hours, it looks like Eisenhower will be delivering that failure message. Then, slowly, in small groups, soldiers start moving. Not because of orders, most officers are dead. Not because of the plan died in the first 5 minutes. But because individual soldiers decide that staying on the beach means dying, and maybe moving forward gives them a chance. Sergeants rally squads. Privates blow holes in barbed wire. Engineers clear mines with their hands because their equipment was lost in the landing. Inch by inch, body by body, the line moves forward. Underscore 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 underscore. By midnight on June 6, 156,000 Allied soldiers are ashore in France. 10,000 are casualties, killed, wounded, or missing. The beachheads hold, barely, but they hold. German counterattacks are uncoordinated because Hitler still believes the real invasion is coming at Calais. The Mulberry harbors are being towed into position. The invasion, against all odds, has succeeded. Underscore 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 underscore. Epilogue. What the planners said afterward. General Montgomery, the plan was sound. The execution was magnificent. Those boys did what we asked them to do, knowing full well what it would cost. History will remember them. Eisenhower, in his memoirs, every decision haunts me. Every casualty figure is a name I never learned, a life I spent like currency. We won. But victory doesn't feel like we thought it would. Churchill, in Parliament, this was their finest hour. Those who planned in the darkness of winter, and those who fought in the dawn of summer. Together, they opened the door to victory. Admiral Ramsay, N. Able Commander, We did the impossible. We built harbors that floated. We landed an army on open beaches. We defied every military textbook ever written. And it worked because we had no choice but to make it work. Air Chief Marshal Lee Mallory, who predicted 70% airborne casualties, I was wrong. Thank God I was wrong. The paratroopers took 30% casualties, not 70%. Still terrible, but they accomplished their mission. Sometimes being wrong has never felt so good. Underscore 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 underscore. The truth is, Overlord shouldn't have worked. Every strategic analysis said it was impossible. The Atlantic Wall was too strong. The logistics were too complex. The weather was too unpredictable. But it worked because the planners didn't need perfection. They needed good enough. They needed a plan that gave soldiers a fighting chance, then trusted those soldiers to make the impossible possible. They argued for months about beaches and tides and weather windows. They built fake armies and real harbors. They calculated casualty rates and accepted numbers that should be unacceptable. They made decisions that meant sending boys to die, and they lived with those decisions because the alternative was letting Hitler win. Churchill's commanders planned an invasion that broke every rule. They landed without ports and built their own. They dropped paratroopers knowing most would die. They gambled everything on a 12-hour weather window. They sent 150,000 men to storm the most defended coastline in history. And somehow, impossibly, it worked. That's what Churchill's commanders planned before Normandy. Not a perfect invasion. Not a bloodless victory. Just a plan that gave freedom a chance, bought with the courage of 10,000 men who walked into machine gun fire because their commanders asked them to, and trusted that their sacrifice meant something. If this story made you think about leadership, sacrifice, and the impossible decisions that changed history, share it. Subscribe. IBE for more untold stories from the planning rooms where the fate of the world was decided. Thank you for watching.